Dave Corinth here. Welcome to my shop. I haven't made a video in quite some time because my dad passed away. He and I were very close, as close as a father and a son could have ever been. We had a lot of common interests. He liked woodworking. Of course, I like woodworking. We liked music together. He played the guitar. I played the guitar. We used to go metal detecting together. We used to do a lot of things together. And his passing was unexpected. I did not see it coming. And it has been a very difficult time for the last 2.5 months. And I haven't had a chance to make any videos. But today, I want to make a video for my dad. I want to make a chip breaker screwdriver, which is nothing major. It's a simple project, but I want to use some items that belong to my dad. One, a piece of wood from a tree that came out of their front yard, and a coin that I found on his desk in his office. So today I want to honor my dad. So let's get started. So, what is a chip breaker screwdriver? It's basically a screwdriver that removes the chip breaker screw. It's specifically made for it. It's the exact same diameter. It has this camber on the bit that matches the slot so it won't slip out. You can use a regular screwdriver to do this. It's not a problem, but a lot of times it's too narrow and it ends up marring the screw and kind of makes it unsightly, whereas this won't do that. The wood that I'm going to use to make this chip breaker screwdriver is a piece of maple. This piece of maple came from a tree that was in my mom and dad's yard that died 6-7 years ago. He had it cut down, and when they were cutting the tree up, he asked them to leave some of the logs there so that he could cut it up for firewood. And he noticed that it was spalted, which are these little dark streaks here, and that it had some striping or some figure to it. And it is very, very, very figured. And my dad liked maple. My dad liked maple so much that anytime he would find figured maple, he would save it. This came from his shop, as well as even a piece of figured cherry. So he liked figured woods, but he really liked figured maple. And when he saw that, of course, he didn't use it for firewood. He resawed it and had it cut up into little boards and use it for various projects. And I want to use this piece on that chip breaker screwdriver because my dad would have certainly liked this. Now, the parts that do the actual screw removing from the chip breaker is this little kit. It consists of an oak dowel that's 5/8 of an inch in diameter with a relief on top or a shoulder that is a 1/2 inch, capped off with a brass ferrule. And then, of course, the bit is this 01 tool steel bit that slides right inside there. And once the ferrule's in place, it's not coming out. Normally, I will put a standard brass barrel nut or waist nut on the end of these knobs so it looks like a plain knob. They're just epoxied in place, and I try to use ones that are damaged or nicked up because it really doesn't matter on this. This thing's already nicked up and beat up as it is, and having a barrel nut that's the same way really isn't going to hurt anything. And it's there just for looks anyways. But in this case, I want to use this coin as a medallion on the end instead of a barrel nut. The coin is a 1929 standing Liberty quarter that, of course, like I said, had been on my dad's desk for quite some time. And I found it shortly after he passed. And I've decided that I want to use this coin rather than just sticking it in some photo album or sticking it on my desk. At least I'll get to see it all the time, and I'll get to use it, although not as a coin, but as a medallion on one of my tools. I just haven't decided if I want to use the obverse or the reverse. I'm really leaning towards the reverse. I like seeing the flying eagle and the stars around it, but you got to admit that's pretty cool looking too. Let me know in the comments what you think, and then you can yell at me afterwards if I don't pick the one that you liked. That tree was planted in 1975 by my dad. So I basically grew up with that tree. And I was rough on that tree. I used to climb it. I used to throw baseballs at it. I would make Matchbox car cities in the roots around the base. So I grew up with it. You could almost say that that tree and I were related. When I'm turning knobs for a chip breaker screwdriver, I'm not concerned with the exact proportions of the knob. I just want it to resemble a knob or be close. And I've done this enough that it's almost muscle memory. I mark the highs and the lows on the contours and, of course, the overall length. And this knob is a tall knob off of a Stanley number 5, which I find to be the best size for these chip breaker screwdrivers. I got into woodworking because of my dad. When I was in the military, I would come home on leave, and if I didn't have much to do, I'd go out in my dad's very small 8-foot by 12-foot shop and piddle around with his woodworking tools. I'd make picture frames or checkerboards or small boxes, just anything to keep me busy. Now, my dad built a lot of stuff out of that small 8-foot by 12-foot shop. He made all sorts of tables and would give them away to family and friends. He made my mom a set of bookcases and a curio cabinet. He made a headboard for beds. He did all kinds of stuff in there in that little bitty shop. And it wasn't until around the year 2000 that he finally built a full-size garage and, of course, turned that into his wood shop. And with a larger shop, he decided to take on a larger project. He ripped out the old kitchen cabinets in their house and built a completely new set from scratch, lowers and uppers, in black cherry. I have the basic profile of the knob finished, and it doesn't take long, about 4 or 5 minutes to do one of these. But there's a couple things I like to do. One, I like to use a skew to make sure that that knob is nice and round. It's kind of hard to do with a gouge, but a skew you can really make sure that it's smooth. And on the base, using a gouge, I like to put a little recess, like you would have seen on the later Stanley tall knobs after the Type 13. Here I'll take some 220 grit sandpaper to start, and I'll finish that off with a 400. And with the knob still in the lay, that's when I like to apply the first coat of oil. And with the finish applied, you can start to see that tiger striping, and it really makes that spalting stick out as well. I recently put a TV in my shop, and I like to listen to music when I'm working, but before I would use my iPhone, and since I shoot all the videos with my iPhone, I couldn't have the music on while I was actually shooting videos. But with the TV, I can, and I didn't realize that it would be that loud. And on this particular day, I was listening to some Keith Whitley, and YouTube then took that to J.D. Crowe and the New South, and finally to Ralph Stanley and the Clinch Mountain Boys. The Forstner bit for the quarter is a 15/16, and I take it down about a 16th of an inch. And it's a snug fit, but it will fit. For the dowel, I use a 5/8 Forstner bit, and I drill that pretty deep, about 1.25 inches. So I have the knob turned with one coat of oil on it. I have the bit ready to install, and of course I have that quarter. So the quarter will just sit right there. I think I'm going to go ahead and use the obverse, not the reverse. I like seeing that date, the 1929, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use this side. But you never know, could change my mind. And then, of course, there is the dowel with the bit and the ferrule. So I epoxy these in. So that's what we're going to do next. The music, you'll have to blame that one on my dad too. Like I said earlier, he played the guitar, and of course, that led to me playing the guitar. My dad really liked music. He played in the band at the local church. He was once in a band back in the early 80s, late 70s, I think, that was called Montana. And of course, didn't turn into much. But he loved doing it, and he played music his entire life. The man also loved to fish, a lot more than I do. He would take the grandkids fishing every chance he got. And last summer, he bought a bass boat. My son had recently joined the high school fishing team, and my dad decided that he couldn't be on the fishing team unless he had a proper bass boat. Now, when that dowel gets driven in, it's going to push some of that epoxy to the top, and it's really important to wipe off as much of that as you can without getting it on the wood. It'll come off the brass easy, no problem, but you don't want to get it on that wood. Now, when I set this quarter in place, I want to clock it to where it lines up with the bit. Because when I decide I want to store this, I'm probably going to use the bit to store it, and I would like it to be upright when it's being stored. All I'm going to use is a couple of drops of epoxy. Like I said earlier, that quarter fits tight and probably doesn't need any epoxy to stay in there, but I'm just going to put a couple of drops in there just to make sure it doesn't come out. Now I'm going to set this quarter in place by tapping it with the neoprene end of this little hammer, because you wouldn't want to strike that with a brass hammer or with a regular steel hammer or a ball peen, but the neoprene won't damage it. And I'm very lightly tapping it just to make sure it sets in that recess. Now a little bit of that epoxy did ooze out the side, so I want to make sure I wipe all that off. And once the epoxy is set, I want to go ahead and clean up any epoxy that got on that brass ferrule. And to do that, I'm going to use red Scotch-Brite. It gives it that nice brushed look. Not the last thing I'm going to do is wax this knob up and make it all nice and polished, and try to stay away from that quarter because I don't really want to polish that. I like those little dark areas or that oxidation that's in between there. I don't want to remove that. I don't want that quarter to look like it's been polished. And what I'm going to use is Bry wax. Johnson's always been my go-to wax, but they don't make that anymore. I still have one unopened can left, but I want to try this stuff out. I've used it quite a bit. I like it, and I want to use it on this knob because I found this can in my dad's garage. So we're going to use this. In 2006, I bought a metal detector because I thought that would be a fun hobby to get into, as if I needed another hobby. But my dad had just retired from UPS and he got into it as well. And we ended up going metal detecting together all the time. We would go to old fairgrounds, old churches, and since my dad literally knew almost everyone in town, he had no problem finding places to go metal detecting. All right, we'll let this sit, let her dry, and then polish it up. I know my dad really would have liked this little project. One of the very last photos he took with his phone was a picture of me turning a walnut knob on my lathe. He really liked watching the videos that I make, and he enjoyed going to the MWTCA meets with me when he could go. His favorite one to go to was the one in Spencer, Indiana, every March. And we were going to go to it this year, but unfortunately he passed away. That was his favorite meet by far because on the way there we could go through Gibson County, Indiana, where my dad was born and raised in a little town called Johnson. Well, I think it turned out great. Um, It's just a little memento from my dad's shop in his office, and I'm glad that I got to make it. Of course, I'd much rather have my dad here, but at least I'll have this every time I go to loosen a chip breaker screw. I can think of my dad. So comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll make more. And of course, thank you for watching. Well, I'm very pleased with the way this turned out, but I really would have liked to have seen that eagle on there. So I made another one. This one's in rosewood. It was a rejected knob for a number 4, but it would be perfect for one of these. So I went ahead and made a second one, and now I have the obverse and the reverse. Well, since I now have 2, I'm going to put them somewhere on my till. I don't know where yet, but I'm thinking about putting them up here in the corners, one on this side and one on that side, and using it to where either with the slot or with the ferrule, they can slide in and sit up there. And I think they will look great up there on my new till.